at least recently, but it does feel as if this isn't going to be the most protected Phoenix. The Lena pick, of course, is going to be very annoying. We'll have to see how Brax is able to help out his teammate. But TA as well is also a very good egg hitter. You get that BKB, everything feels pretty normal. And I think this, again, is four Zoomers banking on the fact that they need to have good team fight, they need a good team play. And then Undying, they're mirroring you every step of the way. They even pick an offlaner that really doesn't do anything versus the Ember Spirit. They don't go for the Pango. They don't go for that risky play. Instead, they say, we are going to pick better heroes than you in every position, and we are going to have you try your luck. We already saw Brawl play this TA versus the Ember Spirit, and unless Gunner is very careful, the anti-armor is just deafening. It hurts so much, and you can't disjoint it. You have to dodge it out with that sleight of fist. And if you're using your sleight of fist to dodge TA right clicks, I think you got bigger problems in your game. So again, they're doubling down. This is another hero. They have that anti-armor strat coming from 2. It feels like, again, Undying, this is just exactly what they've done. I think if they can continue this sort of pressure play, if they get a hero, again, that Tomato is going to be able to compound with that team fight capability, I gotta almost give it to Undying. I really like how they're playing, how they're drafting today.
Yeah, and I think going back to the Infamous series as well, as you mentioned, you like the way they've been drafting. Undying, it's not just a simple matter of you draft, we draft, our draft is better. They're, it's going to sound a little bit mean, but they're almost tricking their opponents into a draft that they think is good, that Undying know is weaker than what they're putting together themselves, which, again, I don't want to come down too hard on Four Zoomers and Husky sort of doing the picking for them, but that's how it felt against Infamous. That's kind of how it feels right now. Four Zoomers are picking up things that they think are going to work for them, and then Undying basically are sitting there saying, you've done exactly what we thought you would do and what we're banking on you doing. Now here's how we're going to counter it.
And of course, when both teams draft this team fight heavily, there is that aspect of execution where maybe everything whiffs. If Undying miss their LSA into the AA ult, into the Tidehunter Ravage, then it'll feel terrible. It'll feel like nothing will happen. Same time, for Zoomers, if the egg goes down, the Mars isn't there immediately to protect it. It just sort of fizzles out. This is where the execution is going to matter more so than any other lineup. And that's where you almost have to feel like Undying do edge you out just a little bit, because not only do they have that team fight aspect in their team, but you have that roach taking capability. You're always able to find those objectives, and that's something that Undying definitely have sort of more so than Four Zoomers as of right now. They have those heroes that can get those objectives. Everything can sort of play around that ball of just move from tower to roach to tower to kill. Great, that's fine. And that's where Four Zoomers, they don't have that hero yet. The Ember Spirit is very active. You're going to be able to play on these supports. But again, it's execution, execution, execution. And everything is going to rely on Sammy Boy's hero to fill that role of who are we using to get these towers? Where are we playing? That's why I think we see Undying ban out both the Spectre and the Monkey, because they don't want another hero that can get on top of them. They don't want to lose their lanes. And that's where Sammy Boy, what hero can you be to fit this mold where you need to get towers, you need to not lose your lane versus Tide Lena? There are very few heroes that fit that role.
They need to pick and choose quite carefully. Meanwhile, for Undying, I mean, for Tomato at this point, he's still got his sort of options open. You've got teamfight ability in lockdown, you've got damage coming out from the likes of the TA, so I don't know. In terms of the heroes we've seen from him before, the Luna is in there. They could try for that. You might be a little bit maybe iffy in the lane early on, but something like the Luna, if it can farm up, you're really going to put pressure onto Four Zoomers. Sammy will have to match that pace, and it's going to give you another hero that can potentially deal with the egg, who can help you take objectives, and you're a BKB away from being almost unstoppable. But yeah, the Wraith is going to come out for Undying instead. They want something that just really doesn't have to care at all.
Yeah, and just having that little bit more deliberation there, because they know what they don't pick is left in the pool. Maybe see the Luna or the Naga. No, they're just going to go for the Deuce instead. Okay, that is your sort of fit all role hero. It doesn't exactly lose versus Lena Tidehunter. It is able to push down those towers, but we are definitely seeing Four Zoomers take that more laid back approach where, again, execution is going to mean everything. They do secure another hero that is going to be able to protect that egg, but you can't help but feel that Undying, they're on fire. If they're able to keep this momentum going forward, at least with this Medusa pick, they are saying we are going to plant our feet in the ground. We're going to have a little bit more confidence in these heroes. We have a hero that is going to be able to get slightly more aggressive once we get that Aghanim Scepter, and then maybe they can turn the game. If Gunnar has an outstanding performance, again, we saw that Ember Spirit the last time it was picked up as well, where there isn't the best lockdown on the Undying side, but if they can somehow catch him, really eat into him with those meld, with that anti-armor, then this Ember's going to feel terrible. But if he can surpass that, if he can get on these supports, if he can be the aggressor, the one making these forcing plays, we just need to see a really good performance coming out from Gunnar.
And especially with Sammy needing the time to build up on that Medusa, it's going to come down to the Ember and Brax on the Mars to really be the ones sort of carrying the torch here for Four Zoomers. If they don't start off strong, if they're not able to make those plays, that's when things are going to get a little bit more dicey for the Four Zoomers side. But if they can find that success, then they are the perfect heroes to sort of bridge that gap. When Sammy Boy's ready, then really doesn't matter what Undying will have, they will always sort of struggle to get in onto the Medusa. It's never going to be sort of an easy kill for them.
And that's where, again, okay, we got the palms coming out, but these drafts, they're so close. We are not going to see these teams, I think, double down necessarily on their picks, on their sort of strategies. They want to win with their skill, nothing more, nothing less. These teams, I think they could both run the Brood Mother, but we're not seeing that hero valued at all. We're not seeing many of the cheese. These teams are going to live by the sword, die by the sword. They are going to take you to that man fight. And again, we see team fight heavy lineups. And that's where you do need to be careful, where if that Ravage is expended, if you don't get your target kills, if Four Zoomers are able to back up a reset, they have another lineup where the counter initiation is strong. It's very, very powerful. And if they can make the Vanguard, if Sammy Boy can hit his timings as fast as we've been seeing him in this tournament, I want to see Four Zoomers play both sides of the coin. I want to see them get aggressive on the enemy side of the map, because they can make the Vanguard. They can put this Medusa, really just prop them up on their shoulders. You play behind your Mars Arena. And that's where, again, Brax and Gunnar, if they have good performances, if they can keep this momentum up, then I think really they could pull that into a pretty easy victory. Whereas if Undying, they're able to drag you out, they're able to get their good timings. If they get a few too many Aegises under their hand, I mean, TA Tide, that's like a TI9 strat. That's what Liquid were running back in the day when they were still Liquid.
Just an insane amount of sort of armor reduction and damage going to be coming your way, and that's even before we start talking about the Wraith King potentially getting involved in those fights as well. So something that Four Zoomers are going to have to be unbelievably wary of. I don't know if they need to be, looking too defensive in that situation. They don't need to sort of back down in a lot of situations, but they got to make sure that they are protecting the right heroes. And as you said, that Gunnar and Brax really do carry this team through the first maybe 20, 25 minutes, thereabouts. But we do see a bit of an early smoke play out from Undying. 5-man smoke making their way into that north side jungle. They are right on a collision course with Ocean here. And there's going to be the Wraith Fire Blast. This should be a relatively easy setup. LSA comes in as well. Chilling Touch deployed, and Ocean will be taken down. Brax made an attempt with the Rebuke, but not really going to be enough to matter, as everyone will tip Dubu. Okay.
Yeah. Darn Dubu taking the kill. What are you thinking, man? But yeah, no, with the Tide, you always want to get aggressive level 1. Even though he did skill up the Anchor Smash, I think after seeing that Ocean was more or less already dead, he's like, yeah, I don't want the Q spell in this lane. I don't want to skill up my Gush, at least not until that level 2 mark. But we'll see if they're also able to get a lot of these bounty runes here. Yeah.
Hasn't skilled anything yet. You don't want to have to take the Icarus.
Does he get it still? Oof, 45 HP, but that is a really big deficit now you have to play behind.
That's going to make his lane feel so awful. Level 1 Icarus dive, you just don't get to do really anything. So, well, yeah, Husky just going to have to hope he can hit level 2. He actually, he had to salve there too to sort of eat away that damage. So this is rough. And especially considering Husky, he's not actually laning with the Mars. He is in that sort of position 5 role. He's going to be the one down bot trying to sort of keep the pressure off Sammy, and without the Fire Spirits, that is quite a bit more complicated. But as of right now, Undying looking for the tri-lane setup. Moon just made his way top, yeah. Okay, good play for motion for the D-Ward. Problem is, now he has to get away.
Nice dodge.
Touch. Still comes through, so he is slowed up. But yeah, without the LSA, don't know if they really do this. Moon is going to continue just dishing out a little bit of extra damage, because why not? Ocean can't really stop him. Okay.
Just
No,
all the way back to the tower.
not gonna be able to get the kill. But yeah, Ocean just sits back. He's got to pop that salve, and now, if you're Brax, you got to be aware of the fact that Lena's maybe coming up behind you. As here comes Moon, making his way in. Brax is already gonna start sort of rotating over towards that tree line, but they can still do this. They've got LSA, they've got themselves the Wraithfire Blast. Dubu has Chilling Touch, but not Cold Feet, but I think they can still make it happen. As they are going to jump in. There's going to be the Wraithfire into the LSA. Brax dropping low. Can they actually bring him down, though? They need a little bit more damage, and they're not going to be able to get it.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why Saberlight skilled up that Anchor Smash, knowing that he's going to have to lane bottom alone for just a little bit, but this is interesting. We saw them work out with this exact combo in that Infamous game. Of course, they had to almost wait for level 2 before they were really able to make those aggressive plays, and Brax is posted up a little bit far here, but again, you have the level advantage on the 4-zoomer side, so without that Cold Feet, I really don't think they have the chain to be able to kill anyone here, but Tomato is ultimate free farm. There is nothing that they're really able to do with this much support placed on him, and I don't think Saberlight is really suffering either. Husky was able to stack the small camp, but he's kept his wave incredibly far back for being on his own.
Yeah, this is working out incredibly well, and again, there's really nothing Husky can do. He's just looking to sort of look to his own here, stacking and pulling. That's all you can do as the Phoenix with Icarus dive at level 1, so Saberlight's going to be able to enjoy that for a little while longer. Maybe once the Fire Spirits come out, there can be a little bit more harassment, but Saberlight's got 2 points up in the Kraken shell, so a lot of instances, maybe the Fire Spirits hit, but he can still use the Anchor Smash to farm, and any right clicks coming his way are going to be significantly reduced in terms of actual damage output. So Saberlight's having a good time here so far, just looking to soak up some experience. Meanwhile, Ocean is deep in enemy territory. He and Moon Meander are just sort of having themselves a good time, tipping each other back and forth, but Ocean, I think, was maybe... I was going to say looking for a creep, but he's not level 2 yet, so that wouldn't do him any good. He doesn't have the enchant. Now, Dubu's going to hit him up. There's a Chilling Touch and a Cold Feet here, but Moon Meander's too...
They're playing on to the... Yeah, they got him.
Okay, I was going to say too far away for the LSA, but the Wraithfire Blast is there, and Ocean should be taken down. Moon Meander will be able to get the kill on Undying on the maybe, what, second or third attempt. We'll finally be able to make that happen. They just really needed to wait for Dubu and Moon to have that sort of second level.
And this is just absolutely terrible. This feels awful for Brax. He's got one lasted to his name. He's been getting some of this XP, but it's all been at a very big disadvantage, and they're continuing to set themselves up incredibly well. And I saw Gunnar very, very low for a moment mid, but it looks like even he was able to stabilize. Unfortunately, they did block out Brow's small camp at the beginning of the game, so they weren't able to deal it with Brax.
Brax. Portal Strike comes in for the damage. The Cold Feet will stun him, and he's just dead again. Dubu was even setting up for the body blocks just in case Brax came up out of that stun, but they don't need it. Tomato finds the kill, and this is starting to get a little bit concerning as Moon gonna win that foot race. Kind of cheating a little bit with the LSA, but still. Nobody said you couldn't stun your opponents. Ocean gets locked down. Moon Meander grabs the Water Rune, and over on the other side, it looks like Gunnar is going to be able to get one for himself. So they do at least have some means of refilling that bottle, but I don't know. Gunnar has not really had the opportunity to get too aggressive in this lane. He is slightly ahead of Bryle last hit-wise, but I feel like the TA is just going to sort of have stuff to fall back to. Do we have any stacks right now? Not currently, but you could always send the Lena and or Ancient Apparition in there to sort of stack some of those up, and if the TA won't take them, then Saberlight potentially could. So quite a bit of incentive for them to start stacking those up, but right now Saberlight a little bit too far forward. He's going to back up a bit. He's got the Ring of Health already, so he should be okay as middle lane. Gunnar. Looks like he's okay for now, but Moon is... I mean, he's going to try, I guess, for the wraparound here, and unfortunately for him, he's going to run directly into Ocean, so he's not actually able to make this play happen, but he does now spot that Ocean is actually stacking up camps here, although their ops ward in the area probably already spotted that, but this is going to be interesting. If you could get the TA maybe over here to steal some of this away, that could be pretty valuable. And speaking of valuable, yeah, Brax under attack. Tomato pushed back by the spear. He thought about the Wraithfire Blast for a moment, but won't actually commit for it. But now...
And yeah, here, Moon's coming in again, but it still feels like Tomato is just happy as a clam. He's 33 and 19. Brax is still barely able to touch these creeps. They lost control of the wave for just a second, but Dubu just does a half pull in the small camp. And I really don't know how you salvage this Mars game. You need to almost give him the mid lane, but he can't go versus the TA. He can't really go anywhere. And even mid, Brow was able to hit his 6 a little bit sooner than Gunners. So the struggles are sort of felt everywhere for the ForZoomer side.
Not getting a whole lot right now. At least the Medusa's still farming up relatively well down bot, but this was the problem. We were sort of talking about this. Gunner and or Brax would have to sort of have strong starts here, and Gunner's not doing too badly, outside of maybe being a half level behind his opponent, but now, okay, I say that. He's going to get hit up. The Chilling Touch into the Cold Feet doesn't actually proc onto him, so he should be okay. Now he wants in. Dubu, though, he's able to hold his ground. Ryle turning around with the DD room. Oh,
yeah.
My God, Gunner just annihilated down. Saberlight in with the Ravage as well. It only actually hits onto Ocean, but that should secure them another kill. The Phoenix had to dive away, so Husky's really not going to get involved in this any longer, and he's actually slowed up by the trap. Do they really go in for this? Saberlight.
Another LSA.
Doesn't have the gush, but they don't need it. Yep, LSA from Moonmeander will connect. Chilling touches in. Saberlight gets the final hit. No, he doesn't. Moonmeander steals it away, but either way, 3 kills in the middle lane. Both of the supports and the Ember taken down, and I mean, Undying, they're just perfect so far. 6-0 through the first 7 minutes.
And they can make that dive with complete confidence. What is Sammy or Sammy Boy gonna TP to your wave? Is the level 4 Mars gonna TP? There's really no answer for this early game aggression because of how they sort of set themselves up. And I think it's just really, really smart from Undying, where you see this Phoenix picked up with the Entrenchers. You know that as soon as the Medusa comes out, you're going to have a relatively free time. And I think they picked up these heroes thinking that they were going to punish Sammy Boy, but instead they immediately flipped the script and say, okay, instead of punishing Sammy Boy, we are going to make your offlaner's life as hard as possible. And we have a Tidehunter. He doesn't really care. We're going to limit so many plays that you should be able to make just because of our Whittle Swift decision in almost basically the picking phase. And Saberlight feels completely fine. He's been sort of vacated in this lane by himself. He's got 3 points up in Kraken Shell, and he really doesn't care what Sammy Boy could do to him.
And this is back to a little bit of what I was sort of talking about in the draft. It just feels like Undying so far today have tricked their opponents into picking what they think is strong, but plays directly into Undying's hands. As you mentioned, that sort of Saberlight pickup on the Tidehunter, they just easily transition into keeping Saberlight safe in the bottom lane while their tri-lane just completely destroyed Brax's early game. So, I don't know. ForZoomers felt like they had the sort of right idea there, but now it's kind of backfiring for them, and we're all of 8 minutes in, so it's not like they're completely out of this, but they're absolutely on the defensive as Husky is going to get spotted by Moon, but there is a TP coming in. Gunner's going to arrive here, but how much can he really contribute to the fight? The LSA is actually going to miss onto him, but the Cold Feet's actually still there. He's going to get stunned up, and he might just go down. Moon is going to fall in exchange, but yeah, they had to keep Gunner alive. He's able to jump away. Bryle, though, wants to keep on going, but now there's way too many heroes here. They've got to try and back out. Bryle's going to try and make it away, and Brax, that's a long TP, so delayed because of the earlier TPs from his teammates. Not going to be able to get in there for that arena play. So, Undying very wisely backing away. They will lose Moonmeander, though, as ForZoomers pick up their first kill of the match.
And again, sort of the bright side is because of how blocked up Brow's jungle has been, they've really been sort of keeping an eye on those stacks, on those rotations, and having bottom be sort of the sole laning Tidehunter, it does mean that there was no one to stack these Ancients for Bryle, so this will be a slower TA than we've seen previously in the tournament. Nobody's really made those rotations for him, so he's sort of playing on his own speed, but I think the benefits are very, very clear, and they've shown themselves very apparent. And even mid, just Gunner is still struggling to just exist versus this TA. He's going for that Urn now, giving himself another option to maybe break those charges. And actually, Bro is going to get stomped here, and there's a Remnant right here, but again, they don't feel confident enough in bringing the Tide over with Ravage. I think this is just going to be your tier 1 mid falling, unless they really want to bring everyone again. There's a TP on the Mars in 5 seconds.
Will they go for it? They're fighting into quite a bit, and Bryle, that's a smart play, dropping the trap in there. But Gunner, he returned to the Remnant. They're going to try and get this to go, but there's the Ravage going to be deployed. Gunner's locked down. The LSA comes in as well, but that was actually pretty bad. Saberlight's not able to do a whole lot, and now he's going to get trapped up inside of the arena. He's still pretty durable, but you got to assume they're going to be able to bring him down, but they haven't done it yet, and now the fight might start to turn. Saberlight will eventually fall, but Bryle's trying to get in there for the damage. Can he bring down anyone in this scenario? As of right now, no, but Wraithfire Blast deployed onto Ocean. The Enchantress is low. The DOT is not going to be enough, and the Dragon Slave actually misses, but there's going to be the trap. Ocean locked down. Tomato gets the kill, and eventually they're able to get something out of that, but when Saberlight just sort of threw down
Oh,
that ult, I
Bryle.
thought it was going to be more. And now, yeah, Bryle's in some serious trouble. He does have a full sort of wand here, so maybe he's going to be able to bail out of this one. But no, Spear comes in from, Spear comes in from Brax. Gunner's there for the damage. Moon is now on the run, trying to get back under the tower, and it looks like he will be able to survive. But Four Zoomers able to sort of turn that one in their favor.
And they're immediately going to cut out that mid tower, not going to let them get the satisfaction of the last hit. And man, those were some quick and nifty plays from Gunner. I'm not sure that Prowl actually noticed the remnant. He just immediately walked past it and then got chained underneath that tier 1 tower and didn't expect the magic damage. He thought he would have been able to just kind of sit there, be fine. He doesn't have his Dragonlance yet, so he's not the tankiest TA. But again, it's the little misplays, it's the little tick-ups. These teams are so close in skill that if these punishments do come out, neither team is going to set themselves up to sort of lose right off the bat. I think continuing forward, these teams are always going to have something going for them. And if Gunner, again, can continue his play, he's got the max Flame Guard build, so he really is playing to shorten or slow down this TA's timer. And, oh, Ice Blast top. Oh, but if Brax isn't careful. There's no Laguna Blade, but still.
See if he can survive it.
He needs, yeah, if he had the Laguna, I think he would have been surely dead, but I think he's going to be 1 or 2 ticks away from surviving.
Brax gets himself out of there. Moon Meander, maybe a slight missed opportunity, but might have been a miscommunication there. The Ice Blast was coming in. Maybe Moon didn't really get that sort of relay to him in time, so not going to be able to find that kill, but they at least sort of ease some of that pressure off of their tier 1 tower, which as of right now seems like a big deal. Four Zoomers have about 3 or 4 heroes in this top lane, and they would have honestly liked to have kind of already burned through this tier 1. So,
And Saberlight, he's trying to be a bully, but
gotta be a little bit careful here, though. It's just the 2 supports, so they can't exactly get him down, but you don't really have any backup if someone from the Four Zoomer side other than these supports arise. But now, yeah, they're in onto the Lina, hitting her up with the Arena into the Spear Stun. That should be a relatively easy kill. Saberlight, though, just TP'd in, so I don't know. That Ice Blast is off the mark. He's rooted in place. He does have the Ravage, but if there's no one here to help him, this isn't anything.
He's going to take a lot of damage. He's just dead.
Yeah, Supernova is going to be sort of stunning him up a second time, and Saberlight will be taken down. That just felt so unbelievably disjointed. He just TP's in there. No one else is coming up to help him. His teammates are already gone, and there just really didn't seem to be any plan other than I am Tidehunter, run away, and Four Zoomers with 4 heroes don't have to abide by that in the slightest. They just take the fight, they take the tower, and that feels very strange for the Undying side.
And I really don't think they needed to make a play like that. They could have just waited, or alternatively, they could have led in with the Tidehunter, have him showing instead. I still think maybe they find Moon there, but maybe you have that 3 or 4 man Ravage where the turn does come out, but instead, it is good farming time for everyone else. That was a 4-man rotation for Tier 1 Tower, but they are starting to find some of these more vulnerable heroes. They're trying to get a lot of these kills, and it's starting to work out for Zoomers.
Gunner sitting at 6-1 right now, so he quite literally has every kill on his team's side. Meanwhile, for Undying, I mean, you look at their heroes, the Wraith King built up a Midas. Tomato's looking to farm. He is going to get a kill into Ocean there, but they're not exactly building for massive fights, but Meander wants it anyway. He's going to go in with the LSA, but yeah, Brax should just be able to TP out in the arena. Tomato doesn't even have the Wraithfire Blast back up, but that Wraith King is building towards more farming than fighting. Your TA doesn't have the Desolator online just yet, and Saberlight, I mean, he's ready to go when he's got the Ravage, but outside of that, we don't see anything along the lines of a Blink to really get him into the middle of it. So Undying aren't necessarily going to have this sort of early timing, and if Four Zoomers continue to sort of put the pressure on like they have been, they're playing exactly the way we said they needed to. Gunner is starting to pick up some speed. You've got Brax recovering after an absolutely horrible start, and all the while, Sammy still at the top of the net worth chart. So it feels like the pace of play is exactly where Four Zoomers want it to be right now.
And now I think the big issue is just having nobody bottom, nobody to stack for Bryle. You would have loved for him to farm at least 2 or 3 more Ancients at this point. And I think that's where Undying maybe need to make a readjustment, where after we get this Deso, then we can start kicking up the heat a little bit, make that play towards the pit. But for Zoomers, this is a lot of time that has been bought for them, especially with how slow Brax sort of got in this game. He wasn't dying, and oh, Moon, oh, he just got kind of worked.
Does throw the Laguna Blade out there onto Ocean. That's a nice bit of damage. It's just not going to be enough to actually secure much of anything. Moon Meander goes down, and the heroes that were starting to rotate over from Undying decide it's really not worth pushing in at that stage. So Moon Meander taken down, and well, we're seeing him sort of falling back into that sacrificial style that we so often see from him. And to a certain extent, it is working. It's buying time. Bryle is still farming. You've got the Wraith King sort of building himself up as well, but it just feels like four Zoomers are farming up at kind of an equivalent pace right now.
Yeah, and I really don't know what sort of the game plan is. The game plan really is just farm, wait, we're going to have this Radiance on Tomato soon, we're going to have the Desolator and just a few more creeps. That's really the only factor that I think Undying have in their minds, because they did have a fantastic early game, but now because of sort of the disjoint and sort of the breakdown, Gunnar has a full Maelstrom on top of his urn. Saberlight is in a very scary position here. He's hunting, but
Gunnar's going to make the jump in first. They get in onto the Lina, and now Saberlight doesn't really have his backup, so he's leaving. He's just going to back away. Moon Meander's not there. The Laguna Blade isn't really available, and Saberlight feels they're not going to be able to find the kill even if he does deploy the Ravage. So that Invis is kind of wasted. And now, for Zoomers, 3 or 4 heroes in the north side jungle, they're going to push their way forward, looking to see really if they can catch out anyone else. Does Brax have the blink? Yes, he does, so could make a move. Saberlight's really not the best of targets, though, but maybe if they get eyes on Duber, they could jump in, get a quick pick onto the Ancient Apparition. All the while, Gunnar's keeping the lane pushed out here, getting the creep wave all the way up to the tier 2, so four Zoomers really doing quite a bit on this sort of northern section of the map, but now this smoke play is going to take them, unfortunately, away from any of the targets that they want, making their way into the south side jungle, but Undying have already cleared out.
yeah, and it's where those whiffs are going to start to feel worse and worse for the four Zoomer side, because again, if they ever lose a team fight, they ever use their ultimates, the Undying side can just go into Roche. They always have that available to them, where four Zoomers, it is a lot more difficult for them to ever really find that opportunity. And the play becomes more and more obvious the more the silence is sort of felt across the map, where you got mid in, you got top in, you know that nobody is farming these Ancients right now, so Tomato will gladly take them instead. And that's where Undying, I think, will make a big shift towards this pit. If they can get an Aegis pre-20 minutes, they're going to be very happy. And I think Bryle, yeah, he's just going to ping it, they're going to start it, and that's where four Zoomers, they're going to need to have a response. They're going to sort of catch wind of it, I think. But again, they have all of these traps in the bottom jungle. Undying, they should have all of the knowledge in the world here. And Tomato is making it a little bit more obvious, I think, with the way he's sort of pulling these creeps across, but will it matter is the real question. And Gunnar
jumped in on, but yeah, the LSA is going to force Gunnar. Oh god, I don't know if he wants to be there. Okay, gets the kill on the Moon Meander, but now he has to get away. That Ravage will clip onto him, and they've got him locked down. That... Not sure why he came back. He gets the kill on the Moon Meander, but that's not worth it. Now Ocean, this is a problem. Ice Blast coming through. It might clip Sammy as well. No, he's going to be able to sidestep it, but Ocean does get taken down, and now Bryle would actually like to finish Roshan here. That turned into a fight, but he's looking for that objective. Ocean, though, is going to buy back. He's got a quick TP forward, but Brax, okay, in there for the spear stun. They get onto Tomato, but Reincarnation's going to bring him right back. Brax is the one dropping down as Bryle hits him up with that meld hit, so Brax is going to get taken down. Sammy Boy, meanwhile, did get off the Stone Gaze into the Supernova, so that is going to lock down multiple heroes as Tomato will be taken down. And now if you're Undying, this might be time to leave, but Husky, that's a very aggressive push forward. He is going to pay for it. Bryle brings him down, but Ocean, he was hit up by the stun. Sammy Boy now is basically fighting by himself. Can they get through the shield? Mana is being burned away, but Sammy does so much damage right now that he's not going to be taken down easily, but Cold Feet coming out for the stun. They're going to hit him up with the Ice Blast here as well. Sammy, without the mana shield, is going to be eating a little bit of extra damage, but Undying at this point don't have the strength to carry it further forward. They will back away, look to regroup, so if you're four Zoomers, you lost quite a bit in that fight in terms of the heroes that go down, but the Roche attempt is brought to an end for the time being, and Sammy Boy lives. So mission accomplished, kind of. I mean, it's a very costly play, but at least there's no Aegis in the hands of either the TA or the Wraith King at this point.
And that's where I do feel like Brown might have been able to get away with killing Sammy Boy there. He went for the meld hit onto the Enchantress, and then unfortunately uphill missed versus him. But the bigger issue is that Undying, again, they're able to push in here before any attempt at that Roshan. They get this sentry down. They win sort of that TA war, and then they place traps everywhere. And if Force Zoomers have to continuously push into that territory, that is where the fight gets more and more difficult. They're sort of lucky, I think, that Tomato sort of decided to make his rotation out of the jungle before he had any semblance of an armor item or a Sange. So he felt really paper thin. It felt like he was going to die pretty easily. And again, they're making plays on the moon, and it looks like this should be a freebie.
Commander will be taken down, and they may get Saberlight as well. He's going to look for the TP out, though. And, okay, they don't really have to lock down. They use the Searing Chains already. The Spear committed as well, so Moon Meander taken down. Bit of a freebie, as you said. Saberlight's able to escape, and I don't know. I mean, that's a decent kill, but that's a 3-man smoke. You don't get the core. You don't get any damage onto the tier 1, so it's not going to be massive, but you're at least pushing Undying further and further away from Roshan, as Roche has basically, well, basically healed up. Only a little bit sort of taken out of that health bar now, so you are just trying to sort of shove Undying as far away from that pit as you possibly can at this moment in time.
And really, if you can keep these enemy heroes fighting on the side of the map where Roshan isn't, that is going to be exactly what you need to do. And having that Aghanim Scepter so early, man, Sammy Boy always hits his timings. He's such a consistent safe laner, but you have to be a little bit scared because, again, the longer you go, the more time this Wraith King is going to have to farm up, the more time he's going to be able to work towards that Blink Dagger, towards that BKB. And once that BKB comes out on really both these heroes, Brow has his own already. That's where Force Zoomers, their fight gets much, much scarier because very simply, all Brow needs to do is walk through the arena, find the egg, and right now there aren't enough levels on Husky to make it feel really that intimidating. And again, that's where that team play, that team aspect comes in, where if that Stone Gaze is just a little bit off the mark, everything is going to fall apart for them. And that's really just sort of a high-strung, high-balanced lineup that we have from both sides. And if Undying find anything with this smoke, it is Aegis. And Sammy Boy's the first.
Oh boy, Sammy in trouble. Saberlight. There's going to be the
Perfectly
Ravage into the Laguna. Arena down from Brax, but at this point, I'm not really sure if that's going to be enough. Sammy is still dropping rapidly. He needs to try and get himself out of there, but he can't make it. Sammy will go down. The Supernova, meanwhile, being targeted up. They're going to be able to take it out. And now Brax, okay, he will TP himself away, but this is going horribly. Ocean's going to get picked off. Gunner and Brax is trying to fall back, but they're going to continue to chase here. Saberlight, this is not the greatest play. Yeah, he didn't really have a whole lot of HP, but his teammates, they're still pushing their way forward. Can they catch up? Gunner going to get hit up by the Wraithfire Blast to get the trap down onto him as well, and he's dead. He did have the Axe. That would have helped out, but he's not quite able to make the play in time. And now if you're Brax, I mean, where do you go? He's going to try to blink himself away, and if you're Undying, maybe you just leave him be. You can go into the Roche pit at this point, and you know Brax, without the arena, can't really stop you, can't really go for the steal either, so Brow's just going to make his way into the pit here, and we'll see if they can get this in time. There's still really so much time before anyone from Four Zoomers will be respawning, and I don't know, unless your Phoenix is going to make some sort of suicide play with the Icarus dive, you don't really have to be overly concerned right now.
And it really comes at the worst possible time. Sammy Boy just walks into 5 heroes, perfectly chain stun, even stacking it a little bit, just making sure there's no chance that that Stone Gaze gets off. And that's your key ability. That's your key hero. You have the BKB finished up on Brow as well. So exactly what I said would happen happened. The arena goes down, and then they just simply walk into it. Your aspect of defense is sort of gone. You lose the Medusa right off the bat. And now you have the Shard coming out. Okay. Here at top.
Find the solo, but here comes the revenge. Bryle wants in. The trap goes down. The silence will be deployed. Can he get the blink off? No, he can't, so he'll just look for the TP, but there's really no way to cancel it. Nobody there has anything along the lines of Yules. His bottom lane, quick TP in. Bryle wants the fight. They're going to try to catch out Gunner. Can actually hit him up, though. No, he's going to jump back into the river, but that's not the farthest jump in the world. Bryle, I don't know, maybe could have hit him up with the trap there, but would have had to put it down and then immediately sort of pop it, so Gunner going to be able to jump away, but that's going to stop their push. They were hoping to maybe sort of sneak the tier 1 tower in there, but mass TPs, or maybe not mass, but 2 or 3 TPs in from Undying really sort of puts an immediate end to that.
And that's where if you're four Zoomers, you have let this Ravage sort of just completely reset. The enemy team now could get much more aggressive on you. And the unfortunate situation for Gunnar right now is you have this Aghanim Scepter. It's fantastic. It's an amazing amount of burst damage. However, you have this shard coming out from the TA where you are not going to have a BKB. You don't have a Yules in the works. And because you're playing versus TA, you need your plate mail. You need that little bit of armor because if that meld ever hits onto you, you are going to be sitting at a number that you are not going to be comfortable with. And to that degree, this is where towers might start to topple, and four Zoomers need to adopt a sort of split push style where they need a little bit more farm on everyone. And the trap, it spot out Sammy.
Oh boy, Sammy needs help here. Can anyone come to get him? No, Ravage is in. They're going to hit him up with the Ice Blast as well. And
Okay.
Well, yeah, he's not dead yet. Brax is in there. Good play with the Spear stun, but Sammy is still in a bad way. He's going to have to fall back. Bryle, meanwhile, is actually not going to be able to see that Supernova, or at least can't reach it, so he's going to get stunned up here, and he may go down. The Aegis will bring him back up, though, but maybe this is the point where they turn the fight. Tomato's a little low as well. His reincarnation is going to get triggered, and this is really breaking apart. Undying have sort of lost their momentum. They're just sort of scrambling to try and get their way out of this, and they're not going to be able to make it out. Moon's taken down. Bryle now on the run as well, and Tomato not going to help him. He's just going to TP out while he has the chance, and he is the only hero to survive that engagement.
Yeah, I'm reporting Tomato for that one, actually. Sammy Boy has no business getting that Stone Gaze off. He just barely mistimed that Wraith Fire Blast. I don't know if that's you stun, no you stun, okay I stunned, but it's really too late. As soon as that Stone Gaze gets off, you have the Cold Blooded, you have that level 20 talent, he heals up for, again, like 1600 mana, and you don't have that kill onto the Medusa anymore, and you don't have a Blink Dagger on your TA, so she is completely caught without BKB for her second life. They really were all in on killing her that first time around, and when that doesn't happen, it is a disaster. And perfect positioning from Husky, he was in no danger. His egg, while I think he just propped up level 2 after the fight, that was still only going to be 6 hits. That would have been very easy for them to just sort of move over, hit it up, and again, sort of the picture perfect situation where Gunnar is able to play on your supports. There isn't enough control coming out from either of them. And if the TA isn't keeping this Ember Spirit down, I just feel like that was a move Undying didn't need to make, and they definitely throw away a little bit of their lead there.
Now Moon getting hit up in the top lane as well. Sammy can't do it alone, but Brax is in there for the stun, and Moonmander, this is just the way it's going to be for him. He's just going to have to sort of keep being sacrificed at this point while his teammates try to do stuff elsewhere, but I don't know. What are they really working on? Tomato wants the Halberd, but he's not quite there. Bryle, meanwhile, working his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. So the projection honestly may get him out of some of those sort of rough situations that we saw in that last fight where he just sort of stuck in the middle of it as Gunnar. Okay, that is a very aggressive play, but it is going to be enough. They get Dubu down. He does take an Ice Blast to the face, but Saberlight doesn't have the damage to really punish that.
Yeah, and this is sort of continuing to happen over and over again. We're not seeing the same Ember Spirit that Faker was not able to pull off. He was just getting a little bit too unlucky in those team fights. He's 14-3-1. This is exactly the Ember Spirit we really need from their team, and this is exactly why Infamous picked it up, because if you are able to continuously play on both the AA and the Lina, Moon is still working on his Eul Scepter. We are, again, seeing him 4, 9, and 7. He has been dying sort of for the cause a lot of these situations, but we are not seeing him really pop off net worth wise as much as we have at all today. And that's where I think you're sort of seeing the weaknesses of this lineup, where great, if all of your spells hit, you're going to do fine. This is our lineup. If you can hit the LSA, if you can hit the AA blast on these key targets, fantastic. But Medusa, as well as being one of those heroes that sort of is able to ignore her HP pool, she just really cares about the mana. It feels like now your fights are going to be further and farther in between, and I don't think Undying really want to do another 5-on-5 engagement unless that Roshan is on the table.
Now it just feels like they're kind of dodging out their opponents. We do see them make their way down bot for the tier 2, but that's going to be an even exchange. They lost the tier 2 up in the top lane just a few moments earlier, so they don't really feel like they have the strength right now to go all in for this. But Sammy, he's going to force somebody to come back here. He's pushing onto the tier 3 with a double damage rune. Saberlight has to move forward, and we do see Bryle sort of coming in here as well, but that tower continues to take hits. Sammy is not going to give up until they actually force him to fall back. And now it looks like with multiple heroes here, he is finally going to get himself away, but that's about 2/3 of the HP of that tier 3 tower taken down in a very casual push from Sammy. With the DD rune, he really didn't have to care too much, just got what he could and fell back.
And the further this game goes on, we're going to start to feel more and more the strengths of this Ember Spirit. You very simply send one hero back, and that hard decision that really this TA Shard should have him making, it isn't mattering because they are, again, they're fighting back. If they win the Sentry War, they know where these traps are. The way that Brow has been forced to play, they have these traps in such a concentrated area in a place where neither team is playing because of how the other team is positioned. And if they are able to maintain this high ground, we saw in that previous game how important it is if you can keep this outpost away from the dire side while Roshan is alive. It'll feel like Undying need to make a risky play. They need to make a smoke, and your cooldowns are very long. If Saberlight uses this Ravage, this is going to be a big timing where for Zoomers, they aren't going to care. They're just going to immediately push, and we've already seen how Sammy Boy, he's being made sort of the spear of his Vanguard. They are sitting behind him, and it is absolutely working.
Saberlight can't really do much there. Pushes in, goes for the gush, immediately hits himself up with that sort of mini stone form, and you can't do anything. Sammy's just going to sit here and hit the tower, and Undying need to find a way around him. We do see the smoke coming in now, though. Tomato and the two supports are going to look for the wraparound, but Husky's got the high ground. Tomato, though, could blink himself forward. He is going to do so. They're going to try to get onto Husky. They're going to hit him up with the Ravage here as well. The Ice Blast will come through, so Husky is dead. There's no threat coming out there with that Supernova, but they need to deal with the rest of the lineup, including Sammy, who charges forward with the Stone Gaze, and yeah, Undying at this point, they can't do anything more. They can't chase, but Ryle, okay.
Yeah, so projection, they're going forward still.
Saberlight in here as well, but without that ult, I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to do as Brax turns around, drops the arena in. Saberlight will be taken out. They're going to get onto Tomato as well, but the reincarnation is going to bring him back all the while. Ryle just looking to dish out that damage. Is it going to be enough, though? No. He's hit up by that Heaven's Halberd. Not going to be able to attack right now, but Tomato respawns and actually gets the job done himself, as they will take Brax down, but now Tomato is slowed up by the enchantment. BKB will be popped. He's going to look for the TP home. Do they have the damage to bring him down in time? No, they do not. So Gunnar gets in there on the back end. He spent most of that fight actually trying to track down, I believe, Moon Meander sort of in that north side jungle. He was able to get the kill, but can't get there in time to really lock down anyone else. But you're Undying. That wasn't great. You get Husky, you get Brax, you lose 3 heroes in your reincarnation on that Wraith King, which is fortunately enough at level 3. So it's on the shortest possible cooldown, and he is already going to be able to have it back up. But now Warzoomers are into the pit, and there's nothing Undying can do.
Yeah, you use that Ravage, you sort of get baited in there a little bit. I don't know if they really thought they were killing Sammy Boy there, or if they were just trying to get the mana out. And every single time they hit him up with one of those spells, it's the Cold-Blooded. It's super obnoxious. They're giving him 400 mana back really per hero. If he ever throws that snake out, it feels like they're playing further and further into the hand of this Medusa. And yet again, your lineup is 100% being exploited by this Ember Spirit. Up until that point, Brow has been trying to make those bob and weave plays where he's been getting in and out of those fights with the Aghanim Scepter, and that's something he has to go for because he doesn't have that Blink Dagger, and we're not seeing that Agibink really being brought up either because he knows he's going to really start to lack the damage. Already we're seeing them start to lack damage, and I'm not really sure how they solve that issue. They should be fine. They should be able to play versus this Medusa, but Sammy Boy has just gained so much speed further and further and further, and I think if this is just the tier 3, I don't know how they take a fight after.
Illusions pushing their way forward. Brow's going to be able to clean them up, though, so the tower will stay alive for now, but before Zoomer is able to do so much in the way of just sort of pressure here without having to really risk much of anything, even if you somehow sort of mount that response, rally forth, go in for the kill, get the Medusa down, that's just Aegis. How do you do it a second time? And right now, I'm not really sure that they can, so Sammy Boy is just going to sort of get to sit here and be the battering ram, siege this one up slowly but surely, and you're basically daring Undying to try something, and I don't really think they have the means to push forward right now.
And Gunnar is stalking just slightly, but he is just going to walk underneath the sentry, so kind of has to give up that play. But it's just TA and Ember Spirit sort of playing versus each other, getting that split push game underway. Meanwhile, Sammy Boy is here, and you are doing minuscule amounts of damage to him. Not only that, you get Elven Tunic and Butterfly at the exact same time, so you've got that evasion to deal with as well, on top of his own talent. This is starting to become worse and worse for them. The biggest thing they have going for them right now is you do have a lot of anti-armor versus that snake, but even with the Solar Crest put on him and then the medallion in return, you're still sitting at 36 armor. You really are struggling to find any way through this mana shield, and then you have the Sunray on top of it. Husky has this Holy Locket as well. I really don't know how they kill the Sammy Boy Medusa. They need to get really just the godsend team fight where you need to kill Husky, you need to kill the Enchantress, you need to take out all of this healing from this lineup. But Sammy, he's just going to sit here. He really doesn't mind just sitting here and eating all of your spells.
Good news for Undying is that down in the bottom lane, Gunnar was forced to eat the cheese, as the TA was able to sort of track him down. Brow could do enough damage on that front, but that doesn't do you much good in terms of the situation up top. Sammy is just going to continue sort of laying it in as Gunnar.
Oh, unlucky.
And at this point, he should just have a Remnant to jump back to, but it's actually going to look to turn around. He thinks he can get a kill onto Moon, but... oh, well, maybe he can. Jumps back in. Moon Meander dropping low. Will be able to take him down. And now Bryle, I don't really know how long you stick around here. He's got the BKB, so he can leave really whenever he wants, but he's hoping for the kill. And I don't really know if he's going to get it. Gunnar's just sort of pushing him around a little bit, jumping to the Remnant time and time again. All the while, Sammy, well, he wants into the fight. They're going to be able to hit up Saberlight. They get him with the arena into the Spear Stun, and his Tide, he might just die before the Ravage. He doesn't get it off.
And look at him. Gunnar's completely fine with this fight. He knows that Bryle, he wanted to get a BKB out of Bryle. Then the game would pretty much just be over at that point. But you lose your Tide to that arena, and now I don't know how you walk up to the Snake. The Snake is just sort of a fact that you can't deal with anymore. I really think Undying sort of threw away their chance in this game, and it was really just around their Ancients area where they thought they were going to kill the Snake just pretty much outright. Sammy Boy was going to go down before getting his ulti off, but I really don't think you have enough damage anymore to kill him. He even goes the 75 int. He doesn't care about split shot modifiers. I don't know what you do. This is just going to be at least another Rax. At least you have this tier 1 bottom. So T4s are really the only objective after the fact here, but I feel like 4 Zoomers have played around your lineup just beautifully.
There's just nothing right now that it seems like Undying can do. They're going to try to force the fight, but this is not going to go well for them. Ryle already sort of stuck in the middle of it, has to use the projection to get himself away, as he was able to jump back into his own fountain. Moon Meander, though, is going to be the one taken down. He is going to be able to get back in with the buyback, though, but at this point, what exactly are they buying back for? Who can they hit up? They're going to try to get onto Sammy Boy. They do hit him with that disarm, but Sammy Boy doesn't care. He just waits it out. He turns around. He's got about 20 seconds on the Aegis, so he knows even if they somehow kill me, back up in just a few moments. So Sammy really doesn't have to be all that afraid, although we do see him backing out now. That timer's starting to get low enough where maybe you don't want to take your chances anymore. So 4 Zoomers will back themselves off, but they do so having cleared out really a lane and a half of Rax, and I still don't know what Undying do to really get themselves back into this. They hold, quote-unquote, but it's only really because 4 Zoomers don't bother going all the way in.
Yeah, I honestly don't know either. They've kind of drafted themselves into a corner here, and okay, nice Manta dodge. Saberboy has the Ravage still, but look at Gunnar immediately onto the backline. You have to do something about this Ember Spirit right now.
Lineup's too spread, though. I'm not sure they can do it. They do hit him up, though, with the stun into the Ravage, into the Laguna. Okay. They do get that kill. Gunnar is able to get the kill with the DOT from, I believe, that shard upgrade.
Pissed.
And oh my god, yeah, he's back into it. Dubu will be taken down. They get Tomato as well, and okay, nice BKB. He's going to look for the TP out. Should be able to get himself home safely, but the sort of list of defenders here for the Undying base is shrinking by the moment. Oh my god, Moon Meander caught out Gunnar.
Ridiculous.
What just happened?
He would like to end this game now. Triple kill for the Ember Spirit, just absolutely taking over. 20-4 for Gunnar at this point, and between himself and Sammy, they should be able to push their way forward. They really don't want to bother trying to get through that final lane of Rax, so they're hoping to just get directly onto the tier 4 as Sammy will lead the charge. Tomato, though, hits him up with a disarm. And go, okay, Gunnar. Jesus, he just keeps on going.
He's just looking for Dubu. He just knows that there's nothing they can do to him. And it is slightly annoying getting hit up. And actually, Bryle, you got hit by a snake.
That's a problem. He is going to get himself away with the projection, but that's going to be him falling back. Now, Tomato, well, he does have the ult back online, so he is going to be into the engagement a second time here at the Reincarnation, but he's stuck.
No BKB.
He's going to get trapped up inside of the arena. The Supernova's going out onto him. The Spear Stun connects as well, and yeah, he's just dead. Tomato will be taken down. Ryle and Dubu against the world now. Can they do it? They've got Saberlight coming in a few moments, but the tier 4s, they're still dropping, and I don't really know if they're going to be able to do this. Gunnar is going to be able to sort of jump away there, so they can't bring him down. They're in onto Brax at least, so they should have the damage to kill him off, but that's not really going to be enough to matter. Dubu falls again. Saberlight's pushed back into his own fountain.
He's got Ghost.
Able to get it. Gunnar is able to jump away, has the Ghost Scepter to save him, so now, I mean, what do you do? Sammy Boy's just been playing objectively this whole
Got
time.
the flicker. Yeah, he just is a fact. This is a fact of the game. It doesn't matter. He's just going to sit here, hit you. You can psionic project him around. You can try and bait it out. Okay, he's dead.
Buyback will come through, but at this point, I don't think it's enough. Ancient's been exposed. They're getting in onto it unless there's a miracle play right here and now, but the Ravage isn't up for 10, so really, what can they do? Bryle has a BKB, but it just all feels like it's not going to matter. Saberlight will push in, but Sammy able to flicker himself out of that one again. He's just going to turn around and dish out the damage. Gunner's in now to help out. That Ravage too little too late, as Saberlight will fall, and now Bryle just has to try and project himself back towards the fountain.
That's
Gunner
it.
not going to let him go. Pushing forward, there's the GG. Yeah. They will call it there as 4 Zoomers are going to be able to tie up this best of 5 at 1-1. Husky, that's a bit unfortunate. He's picked off there right at the very end, but he won't care. 4 Zoomers get the win, and they're able to pull even.
Yeah, and I think really Undying, they were playing very strong, very well up until that point. They were doing the plays that they needed to make. They were being very, very clean with their rotations. But it was that one misplay where Husky's able to get an egg off in really a place where nobody's able to get to it. You barely don't chain stun Sammy Boy up. He gets the stone gaze off, and everything turns on its head. You lose so much speed underneath your team. Suddenly, it doesn't matter that you have the Shard versus the Ember Spirit. But the one factor that really sort of brought this game home is that you have this Ember Spirit pick versus both AA and Lina, and Gunner played the matchup to a T. He was unstoppable. There was nothing those supports could do versus him, compounding the issue with the Tidehunter, and that's what I said in the draft. They picked this Tidehunter because they say, we don't care about you. We're going to get Aegises. We're going to push down your lanes. We are objective focused. We have the power to do this in our lineup, and we are going to not care about you. We already didn't care about KXY earlier. The problem is, Gunner's not KXY. It was 0-7 in that early game, turning into a Gunner 7-7, all of the kills going his way, and he was just flawless. There was really no issue with this play. You had that one death on Sammy Boy, the one death that sort of sparked all of the bad things happening for the lineup, and then Gunner continued to just own. He really felt like he never messed up. The one time he did get Ravage, he immediately bought back. He said, hey guys, let's end the game now. They don't have Ravage. They probably don't have buybacks. And I killed both their supports. I mean, Gunner's just making it look simple.
Yeah, it's just incredible play from him. Outkills the entire Undying team, has 23 of the team's 32 total kills all by himself. So really, I mean, at the end of the day, there were contributions from Brax and obviously Sammy Boy sort of leading the charge there in the sort of end game as Medusa, but Gunner just straight up carried his team. We said that that's what they needed, but this really even exceeds those expectations. Just puts the team on his back and carries 4 Zoomers to a win here in game 2. So with that, this best of 5 is officially tied up at 1-1, and well, really we're kind of back where we started here. The two teams pretty much evened up. So the best of 5 sort of narrowed down to kind of a best of 3 now, but based on that performance for 4 Zoomers, feels like Gunner has sort of entered that grand finals mode, so to speak. You know, he's sort of locked in, good to go after a performance like that. Would not be surprised if he carries over some of that momentum and maybe tries to take charge in game 3 as well. But we will have to wait and see. Game 3 should be coming up here. 4 Zoomers going to look to notch back-to-back wins to take control of the series, while Undying are hoping that they can sort of maybe shut Gunner down a little bit more, prevent him from having that kind of monster impact. So we are going to be stepping away for just a little bit, but when we return, game 3 of this best of 5 grand final will be coming your way.